Okay, so just tell me a little bit about you, your name and where you work, what age group you work with.
Okay, my name is Deborah Little, and I'm a preschool teacher at Little School. I have a group of 10 3 to 5 year olds. Um, yeah.
So, in your opinion, what does it mean to be anti-bias?
I feel like anti-bias is a goal, and none of us are there. And but It's an attitude of striving to accept everybody, and how we're to look at and see how we're alike and how we're different and how that's fun and interesting, and to also reflect on our own biases, and be on guard to try to let go of those prejudices that we grew up with, which everybody has, to greater or lesser degrees. So it's a process, really. It's not just, okay, I'm anti-bias, now I'm
Right.
free from prejudice. That's not real. But as long as we're trying, always like questioning our own, am I being fair, or why do I have impatience with this child more than the others, and just contemplate, how can I improve myself, my own attitude, and the children will pick up on that too.
Right. So, modeling your stuff. So, how do you incorporate anti-bias education into your curriculum?
Always doing a lot of games where we talk about how we're alike and how we're different, and getting books, finding books, either buying them or library books, um, showing how people have different clothes and different hair and different skin colors. And I sort of, about once a month, I do um, activities with different shades of brown, and I talk about how everybody is brown. Nobody's really black, and I show them a piece of paper that's black. Nobody looks like this.
Right.
And nobody's white, like this white sheet of paper. We're all different shades of brown.
That's,
Some are
yeah, that's a
light,
good activity to do.
medium, or dark brown. And we just like kind of finger paint with different shades of brown. And all the shades of brown are pretty, and talk about it like that.
Right.
And that everybody's some shade of brown. And I like put our hands in the middle of the table, and I'll look at how everybody's hand is a little bit different color.
Different shades of brown. So, what is your cultural background?
European descent, Anglo. But my religious culture is from India. So I have I'm a strict vegetarian. I don't drink or smoke, and so the school, the management here understands that I don't want to serve meat to the children, so other people help with serving of meat, so I don't have to do that. And so there's some flexibility in the school to respect my boundaries that I have in my
Your wishes.
my life. So I appreciate that, and it's a team effort to make sure everybody's taken care of. Like I've had Jehovah's Witness children who couldn't participate in birthday parties, and so like from my point of view, it didn't really make sense, but out of respect for them, I would make special arrangements.
Right.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, how does your cultural background? Do you feel like your cultural background influences the children in any way? Like, do you influence your cultural background?
Yeah, I do. I do kind of emphasize a little bit. Maybe I'm not sure. I might talk more about not hurting animals than maybe some teachers do.
So you believe in conserving wildlife?
Yeah, and just respecting all life, And sometimes I'll say, I don't eat meat, but a lot of people do. But when you grow up, you can decide if you want to eat meat or you can be a vegetarian. So every now and then I'll just mention that you know, in your family you eat meat, but when you grow up, you could change your mind. You know, you can have a different idea. And, you know, when we grow up, we can all change our minds and live in a different way than we were raised.
Vice versa, too. So
Yeah.
I had a child in my class who didn't eat meat because her parents didn't. But, you know, maybe when she gets older, she wants to eat meat. So,
Yeah,
vice
my
versa.
daughter did that. She was raised vegetarian, but now she eats meat.
So have you ever taken a diversity class?
Yes, I took the one at Santa Fe Offers, part of the AS degree.
So multicultural, well, an AS?
Yeah, it was called Anti-Bias Curriculum.
Oh, okay. Was it helpful to you? Was it beneficial?
It was a start. It was good to help me become aware of common attitude problems, you know. And so it was a start, but like I said, it's really a lifelong process.
Yeah. Okay, well, if a parent came up to you and said, I don't want my child to sit next to a child of color, how would you handle that situation?
I would take a deep breath.
Right.
And say, actually, our view about differences is that it's interesting and fun, and that's what we teach the children, that it's cool that people are different than us. And I think if your child just participates, that your child will begin to enjoy the diversity in our classroom and not be upset about it. So, you know, would you be willing to give it a try? Because I think, you know, we don't allow children to hurt each other's feelings or physically hurt one another. And other than that, there's no reason why we can't sit next to each other.
Right.
Those are the only two reasons if someone's hurting you, that you couldn't sit next to them. There's no other good reason to not sit next to somebody. We will prevent all aggression or hurting. And other than that, there's no reason why all people are lovable and, you know, likable. And so I think if you just give it a try, you're trying to really enjoy the classroom.
I think you touched on it, but another question I had was, how do you explain diversity to a child? How do you make them aware of diversity?
Well, I think
I know you're saying like the shade game.
Some explanations are there, but I think experience is more valuable. We talked about earlier having teachers also that are diverse, so that the children find that they can trust and ask for help of all different kinds of people, different colors and cultures. And I think it's more important that they experience it, but we can give them vocabulary for that. If a child's experiencing difficulty, you can say, are you uncomfortable? Or your family doesn't know anybody who looks like that, or they don't look like your family, or does that upset you? And help them talk about it. But I think it's more important that they experience. And I think children do naturally want to play with each other.
Right.
That's the highest desire of their heart, is to play. So if another child, even if they look different than them, it's being recorded.
Bye. 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 Oh, you found him.
If children just encouraged to just play together, I think they'll forget about any fears that adults might have caused them to worry about.
It's easier while you're young. It's easy to adapt to changes.
It is.
Yeah.
And I think as long as the adults are also working on their own shortcomings, and give the children vocabulary to talk about their uneasy feelings, that everybody can just work their way through it and come out the other end kind of like, oh, gee, I made a new friend and I really like her. And, I didn't think I would, but I really respect her and like her.
Maybe all adults should go through a diversity class.
Well, that's what college is supposed to help you with, a little bit with that,
So what more would you like to do or expect someone to do to address diversity? Like I was just saying, maybe parents should go through a diversity class.
To be, little school used to have, it wasn't diversity class, I don't think, but
the training.
I think we used to have especially discipline classes.
Okay.
But at least the parents would sit together in a classroom and kind of say, well, I have this impossible situation, and then you hear, well, wait till you hear what my child does or whatever. And anyway, I think, when people talk and relax and just share, they find out they have more in common than they realized. So I think that somehow or other, if we can just get in the same room together and have exchanges. Another thing, of course, Little School does is we have a multicultural festival, which is specifically inviting people to come and share their culture, which I think people from, immigrants, really, it helps them a lot to feel appreciated and not minimized.
Yeah.
And I think we learn something every time.
Yeah.
And I think the children feel some pride that their mom cooked
something from there, food,
and that everybody's going, oh, that's so pretty, or whatever decorative things they bring to for the display table. So I think it helps them feel value, like their family has a value, even though it's different than a lot of other people. So, I think Little School makes a little bit more of an effort than a lot of places in Gainesville in that regard. I at one point I sort of as an experiment just went around and pretended I was a parent with a preschool child, and I just visited a bunch of daycares. And I have to say, I was not very impressed.
Yeah, I was. Now that I look back on it, my son's first daycare, it was not at all diverse. Nothing like Little School is.
Well, I think connection with the college helps a lot because we have more
diversity at the big college.
The families are more diverse, and I just think it's pretty natural if it communicates with the college, or also probably Baby Gator has more diversity than a lot of places like in Alachua or Stark or wherever. So I feel like the connection with the college really ensures that there will be a considerable amount of diversity just because of that connection. And to me it makes life interesting. So I hope that that somehow by osmosis that the children get that feeling or mood or attitude that, oh, that's different, I never heard of that. Oh, that's cool.
Well, that's all the questions I have.
Okay.
Thank you for sharing your time with me.
No problem.